Hey guys, and welcome to Faith Works Designs. I'm Faith, and today we are going to be doing another version of the small world. Now you may have seen this one, but we did another video for just the clear front. A lot of people are really into these clear bags all of a sudden, so we're trying to do a little something different with the front, and you can kind of like see through the inside to the back panel. So this one's just a little bit different. It does have the clear panel in the front, but it also has, which you probably can't see, it also has a zipper pocket on the inside. So if you were wanting a zipper pocket for the other one, this one does come with a zipper pocket. If you saw the other version, you saw that they had gold. This rainbow is just like, look at it. Look at it. It is so, that rainbow is so pretty. I really, really like the rainbow version better. They do have the panel for sale. It will come with all of your outside fabric and your inside fabric. You are going to need to buy the hardware separately. And I will talk about that in the outros of all the stuff that you're going to need. So let's get started. Alright, so if you're ordering the clear small world, it comes just like this. I'm going to show you what all comes with it. So when you open this up, you will kind of automatically see everything that comes in it. So this is the outer panel. It has your zipper gusset, your bottom gusset, your very back panel, and your two D-ring connectors. You also get your lining fabric. This one, we're going to have our back inside lining that's going to go on the back panel. We also have a pocket in this one, so yay. Then you have your zipper gusset and your bottom gusset. For the very front, you're going to have your clear front of your pocket. And they also have the one in vinyl. It's a little bit different. The colors are a little bit different. Seems to me like it's a little more vibrant for the clear. So when you order one of these panels, that's what comes with it. Now what you're going to need is, you're going to need, I believe they sell it in 3-yard rolls, some of the 1-inch webbing. I believe all of their hardware is all 1 inch and their webbing is all 1 inch. So you've got your 1-inch webbing, and you've got 2 1-inch D-rings. You also need 2, and these, look at them. Sorry. 2 of your zipper pulls. I really, really like that rainbow. Hang on. So it really depends on you and what you like more, but I really like the rainbow versus the gold. And you can switch these up. You don't have to just get gold for this panel. We just kind of wanted to show you guys the differences in hardware for the gold versus the rainbow. I love the rainbow. It looks so good. Okay, the next thing that you're going to need is some zipper tape, and it needs to be the length of your zipper gusset, which we will talk about in just a minute when we start cutting all this out. First, set aside your clear front panel. Next, we need to get something to put all this in. I've got my little container. I'm going to keep all my hardware in that so that I don't lose it. And then I'm going to take this to the ironing board, and sometimes I like to put a pressing cloth on top of it just because the waterproof canvas, it doesn't have that, you know how normal waterproof canvas kind of has that slick side? This doesn't. You definitely want to iron on this side. So I'm going to take this to the ironing board, and I'm going to go ahead and straighten this out. Don't cut anything out yet. Just go ahead to the ironing board and straighten that out. First thing that we're going to do is we're going to cut these out after I've ironed that, and I'll give you all of the measurements for what you're going to need for cutting everything out. So let's go to the ironing board. Alright, we're going to start cutting out the zipper gusset and the bottom gusset. First thing you're going to need to do is your top gusset needs to measure 2 1/4 by 17 inches. It's a little bit larger on this panel, but your zipper gusset is going to measure 2 1/4 wide by 17 inches long. And we're just going to cut it down so that it's to size. Alright, then your bottom gusset is going to measure 4 1/2 wide by 18. Four and a half wide by 18. Alright, now I'm going to cut the rest of the pieces out, and in order to cut the lining out, I'm going to be using these as a reference and using them to measure out my lining. Sometimes our lining tends to be like 1/8 of an inch bigger than it's supposed to be, and for that reason we have to make sure that the outside and the lining are the same size. So we're going to have to use, can't talk and circle at the same time, we have to use the outside panels as our guide so that they end up being the same size. Alright, I went ahead and I interfaced all of my pieces for my outer panel. I'm using Pebble vinyl, and so I went ahead and did Decoville Light. It's 1/4 of an inch shorter all the way around so that it's not in seams. I did that for all of my pieces. You're going to need to do that first. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to take our zipper that is the measurement of our outer gusset, which is I believe 17. And what we're going to do is we're going to take our outer gusset and our zipper and put it right sides together. Alright, and then I'm going to grab one of my lining and I'm going to put it right side to the wrong side of my zipper. And I'm just going to add it into that zipper sandwich. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to take this to the sewing machine and sew 1/4 of an inch down our zipper. Alright, so I've got my stitch length to a 3 and I've got a 14 needle in, I believe. Just sewing along with absolutely no bobbin. Okay. Oh my gosh, it's so annoying. Okay, I am pulling my outer fabric and my lining back away from my zipper, and I am going to base stitch the sides together, and then I'm going to top stitch along the zipper. But first, I'm going to change my stitch length to a 4. You know, you'd think if they could make a sewing machine hold that much thread to sew with, why can't we get a bobbin that big? I don't know. Alright. Focus. Alright, so we've got that all base stitched and then top stitched down our zipper. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to grab our other outer panel and we're going to put right side to right side of our zipper. And then we're just going to clip all the way down. And then we're going to take our other lining piece and put it right side to the wrong side of the zipper and just add it to our little zipper sandwich. Alright, I have got my stitch length to a 3. We're going to sew the top, zipper, and lining fabric together at 1/4 of an inch. Alright, then we're going to take the outer panel and the lining panel away from the zipper And we're going to base stitch those together, but first I'm going to change my stitch length to a 4. Alright, so we got our zipper gusset all ready to go. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to grab our really cool zippers. You're going to open up your zipper tape. Take your zipper like so. We're going to slip a little bit on the left side and then the right side, and then pull down. And if the zipper teeth are the same, they're right straight across, then you've done it right. Now I'm going to open this all up and get my other zipper. Alright, both zippers are on. Let's set that aside. Now we're going to grab our D-ring connectors, and I have put a piece of 3/4 of an inch by 3-inch pieces of Decoville Light onto the backs. Then we're going to take our ruler and we're going to find the center. You're going to measure 1 inch up. And we're just going to make a mark there in the center. Then I'll take my double-sided tape and put it right down the center. Ooh. Now I'm going to take the paper off and make the side, sticking to it. I'm going to make that side come to the center and then do the same thing with the other side. Just like that, and then we're going to sew down, over, and around so that we sew this seam shut. Alright, so I have got my stitch length at a 4, and we're going to go a little more than 1/4 of an inch in. Going all the way down, turn it around. We'll do that to both of our D-ring columns. So that they look like this when you get done. And that seam is nice and sewed down, so it's not going to open up. Alright, we got our D-ring connectors all ready to go. We're going to grab our bottom gusset and our D-ring and D-ring connector. Place your D-ring on like that. Fold this in half. Place it in the center, but have 1/4 of an inch kind of overlap. Like that. Do that on both ends. Take this to your sewing machine, and I'm going to base stitch this in place so that it doesn't move when I'm trying to put the rest of the gusset together. So let's go do that. Alright, so we have got our D-rings connected to our bottom gusset. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to take our bottom gusset and put it right side to right side of our zipper gusset. And I'm just going to clip on each side. Then I'm going to turn it over, and I'm going to take our bottom gusset lining and put it right side to the right side of our zipper lining. You're going to do that on both ends. Alright, now we're going to take this to the sewing machine and stitch down 1/4 of an inch on both sides. Alright, now that we have got all that attached, we're going to take the outer part and turn it right side out. And then what we're going to do is we're going to join up the lining and the outer part around the edges. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to base stitch this in place so that the gusset is one big piece to have to work with. Alright, I have got my stitch length at a 4, and then what I'm going to do is just start right here and go all the way on that side and then turn it around and do the other side so that my gusset is one whole piece. Alright, so our gusset is one whole piece. You don't have to worry about like the bottom gusset and the lining kind of flipping around. It's all one piece. We're going to set this, actually, we're not going to set this aside yet. Let's go ahead and make our center marks. So I'm going to put my centers together. Follow it up. Where'd my scissors go? And on the other side, we just want to get these center marks so that when it's time to put our front and back panels on, it'll be a whole lot easier to match them up. So making sure that you're finding the center of the top and the center at the bottom. Alright, now we're going to set this aside. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to grab our very back panel, our lining to our very back panel, and our two zipper pocket panel pieces. So these panels measure 9 wide, 8 down. What we're going to do is we're going to flip this over and grab something to mark with and our ruler. We're going to measure 1 inch up, and hopefully you can see what I'm doing. We're going to measure 1 inch in, 1 inch up, 1 inch in, 1 inch over on that side. Then we're going to connect the two, move our ruler up 1/2 inch. Can't see anything. And connect those. Next thing we're going to do, we're going to grab our lining panel and you're going to center that lining panel. First, center your back panel, your lining panel, on your cutting mat. Then we're going to take this. Some of this is going to get chopped off when we go to assemble everything, but for now it's going to be there. So 1, 2. So 2 inches down, we're going to place our zipper pocket as best we can, because it's going to be really hard to clip this thing. So we're going to take this to the sewing machine and then sew around that rectangle. Alright, so I've got my stitch length at a 2.5, and then I'm just going to sew around the rectangle. Alright, so we've got our little rectangle sewn. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to draw about from a 1/2 inch in on each side, like that, so they meet up. And then you're going to draw a line in the center like that. Free-handed, that was not bad. Alright, now we're going to fold it in half. Take our scissors and open this up. We're going to stop when we get to the end of the little triangle. I'm going to get my sharp scissors and I'm going to get up into the corners. So you're going to cut up to the thread, not cut the thread, so that your triangle will pop out like that. I'm going to do that on both sides, just making sure not to get our thread. And then lastly, you're going to think I'm a weirdo, but this is what we're doing. I'm going to take my lighter, because my lining and my pocket is waterproof canvas. I'm just going to kind of get the edges, and it kind of like melts it a little bit. And that way I don't have to worry about this fraying or unraveling or anything like that. Just, it might not, but I've just been taking the extra precautions with these two, with the two patterns that I've been doing, just to make sure that I don't have any issues. Next thing we're going to do, we're going to flip this over. We're going to take our 1/4 inch thread, or 1/4 inch double-sided tape, and I'm going to put it on the bottom, like 1/8 of an inch away from the bottom. then like 1/8 of an inch away from the top. Alright, now we're going to push all this through to the other side, and to make it hold, instead of going and ironing it again, we're going to use that double-sided tape to kind of hold everything together. So you're just going to want to go around the edges and make things lay like they're supposed to. Alright, and we're going to take this paper off, and we're going to make that seam go down. I should have used a 1/2 inch double-sided tape, that's fine. Make it go down on that 1/4 of an inch seam. I should have used 1/2 an inch. Dang it. I knew I should have used 1/2 an inch, and I did 1/4 inch anyway. It's fine. Do what I say, not what I do. That will hold it in place so you don't have to go to the ironing board and iron it and all of that. So before we do the bottom, let's go ahead and add another sliver. There. Alright, so this first one is going to hold down our seam. And I'm kind of pushing up on it. And then I'm going to take the paper off. And then I'm going to pull that down, making sure that it's going to lay nice and flat. Alright, so that's going to hold our zipper pocket in place. Let's grab our zipper. So you're going to need an 8-inch zipper, and we're going to burn the ends, and then I am going to take the 1/4 inch tape, and I'm going to go across the top and across the bottom. I do my tape first because when you go to put your zipper on, your zipper can kind of like bow out on the sides, and it's just so much easier to do it like this without the zipper on. Alright, so now we're going to add our zipper, and I've got just a plain zipper for my inside. We're going to open up our zipper on one end, and then put the left side in first, and then the right side in, and get stuck by the tape. Push down and make sure that your ends are coming together. Alright, there we go. Alright, the zipper's on. We're going to make sure that our zipper opens to the right, closes to the left. Then, we're going to take the top piece of tape off and center it so that it's centered in the middle, and then it's also centered with the ends of the zipper. And just kind of push down on that. Get your zipper out of the way, lift this up, take that tape off, and just let it fall where it will, and it should lay nice and flat. Now we're going to take this to the sewing machine, and I'm going to sew, move your zipper out of the way, and then sew all the way around. Alright, so my zipper is all done. Next thing that we're going to do is we're going to flip this over. We're going to get our other zipper panel, and you're going to put it right side to right side of your zipper pocket panel. And then we're going to get some clips that I did not get, and we're going to clip these layers together. Alright, so I find that it's easiest when I'm doing this kind of zipper pocket is to turn it over and start sewing here. And then we're going to go around here, and you are going to do the bottom. We're not going to be turning this inside out or anything like that. So let's go do that. Alright, so we're all sewed up all the way around. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our rotary cutter and just trim off that excess amount of zipper pocket. The bottom right here that we're cutting out will get closed when we do the next step, so don't stress about it. Now we're going to need to get our outer panel, and we're going to take these two. We need to make sure that they're facing the right direction, so keep it steady like that, and then put this one on top, and we're going to clip all the way around and then take it to the sewing machine and base stitch these two layers together. Alright, we're so close to being done, guys. So we're going to grab our back panel that we just finished and our middle gusset. So if you haven't already, make sure that you make center marks on each side of the bottom gusset and your top gusset. And then we're going to take our back panel, and then you could lay it on your measuring table, hold it straight, and make a mark at the center, top, and the bottom. But I'm just going to find the center of my small worlds writing, and then I'm just going to make a clip, and then I'm going to hold that together, and then just keep going all the way up to the top, and then make another snip. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my gusset in right side in, and then we're going to match up the center notch of the back and the center notch of the gusset, and then just start clipping all the way around. Alright, we've got a 4 stitch length, and then we're going to sew at 1/8 of an inch all the way around. Alright, we are all put together. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to take our waterproof canvas, or whatever you have for binding. Mine is going to be 1 inch long or 1 inch wide by the length of my waterproof canvas. And then I fold it in half and cut up at an angle so that when I fold it down and then fold it over, it gets rid of that bulk right there. And then you're just going to clip all the way around. Alright, so we have got a 4 stitch length still, and we are going to sew at 1/4 of an inch in. And take your time with this one, because this is going to be the final shape that your purse takes. So if you're weeveling and wobbling all over the place, it's going to show on the outside of the bag. So use your foot as a guide and just go around slowly. Alright, so we've got our binding on, and we're ready to attach the front. We're going to grab our front, and you should have the paper behind it, and you can kind of see where everything's at. When I was making the one for TikTok and the written instructions, I noticed that the front panel was just a teeny too small, and it may have been something I did when I was trying to put everything together. So when I'm cutting this one out, I'm going to cut it like 1/4 of an inch-ish, a little bit bigger around. Instead of cutting right on that gray line, I'm going to cut 1/4 of an inch larger. I'll let you know how it goes. So you may just need to cut on the gray line. I don't know. I'll let you know when I get done. But I'm going to remove this paper, and then I'm just going to start cutting around and trying my best to make sure that it's 1/4 of an inch-ish all the way around. I don't know if you noticed it or not, but when I was cutting this around, instead of just taking my rotary and just going all the way around, I was trying to turn it slowly while I was cutting it, and you'll end up getting a lot better shape. That's what I was doing with all of the pieces when I was cutting them out. I was really slowly kind of turning them as I cut, and you'll get a better, rounder shape. Alright, so I'm going to find the very tip of this triangle, and I'm going to pinch it, and then make a little tiny nip in it, and then keeping it pinched, I'm going to follow this around. Man, I did really good with that 1/4 of an inch. . Not to toot my own horn or anything, but toot toot. Alright. I've got my bottom mark and my top mark so that I can match this up with my gusset. So the next thing you're going to do is just match it up, the top and the bottom. That is already fitting a whole lot better than this one did. I had more gusset than I had panel, like you can see right here, that little wrinkle. So I would definitely cut out your clear panel a 1/4 inch bigger all the way around, and that way your gusset and your outside panel fit a whole lot better. So let's take this to the sewing machine and sew it. Alright, so we're sticking with a 4 stitch length, and we're just going to go around 1/8 of an inch. Alright, I can go ahead and tell you from making the other one that this went so much better cutting a 1/4 of an inch outside of that gray line that you have on your clear template. So make sure that you cut a 1/4 of an inch bigger, that way your gusset will fit a little nicer. I've got another 1 inch strip. I have cut an angle at the end, and now I'm just going to press that down, fold it in half, and then just clip this all the way around my bag. Alright, so we have got our 4 stitch length still. We're going to be sewing around a 1/4 of an inch just like we did with the back end. Now this is going to be on the front, so we want this to be nice and round. So take your time, go around nice and slow, use your foot as a guide, and go all the way around. Alright, we're almost done. Just need to turn it inside out now. So you're going to open your zippers. Alright, so we've got to make our strap, and look at that rainbow. It's so pretty. So they had 2 options. They had one for the pastel bag, and that one is just as pretty, but this goes so well with that rainbow hardware. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to take our strap adjuster, we're going to place it inside, back down the other end, and then I'm going to clip that together. And then keeping this straight, I'm going to come all the way down the end and then put one of my swivel clasps on like that, and then bring this end back up through this side and then back down that side. And then I'm going to take my other swivel clasp and I'm going to put it on so that the top comes over like that. And it just depends on how much of the webbing you want to flap over. Do about 1.5 inches if you're, figuring things out. I'm just going to make a square right here to sew those 2 together. Let me grab clips. And then once you sew this one, you come over here, get this extra strap out of the way, sew those 2 together, and then you've got your strap. Alright guys, so what did you think? Hopefully this was an easy one. I found that, at least for me, they were really easy sew because they were really fast. Because of using the binding and it just being a circle, it did take a little bit longer to do the zipper pocket on the inside versus the other one that I did, but that's fine. I think it needed a zipper pocket inside of it just to give it a little something extra. Plus you can kind of see it through the inside. Not you, but when you get the bag, you can see that the zipper is through the inside of the bag, and it just looks kind of cool. Let's talk about hardware, guys. From now on, we've been having a lot of questions. A lot of questions when all of the bags are coming out. If you want to know what hardware is with what bag, when you go to buy the panel, make sure that you look down in the description on K&A Custom Fabrics website. When you're buying the panel, it's going to be in the description. Everything that you're going to need, all of the webbing, all of the zipper tape, all of that stuff is going to be there. So make sure that you check that description section out. A lot of people forget to check the description section in my videos or on K&A Customs on their description section. Make sure that you guys check those out. Also, in my description box, there is going to be a link to the panel and also to the written instructions. I went ahead and made written instructions for these for you guys, just in case you guys had any questions, or if you just wanted to not have to watch the video to be able to make a bag, you can just print out those directions and then follow those along as you make your panel. It's up to you guys. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Or if you want to subscribe so that you don't miss any more of our panels, make sure that you subscribe because there's some good stuff coming out next year. Also, if you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section down below. I do check those daily, but if you're in the middle of your project and you're having a problem or you forget a step or something like that happens, you can always go on K&A Custom Fabrics Facebook page and make sure that you ask your question there. We have testers making all of our bags now so that we can make sure there's more than one person who's made the bag that knows how to make it that can answer your question pretty quickly. So if you ever have any questions, make sure that you leave them on K&A's Facebook page and we will get to those. Thanks for joining us again on Faith Works Designs. Bye, guys.